Hey guys, it's me, Lena. Happy Sunday! It's Sunday Fun Day. Who's excited? I am. I made s'mores today. I've had s'mores in forever. Of course, they were vegan. Did you even have to ask? Come on. I am a vegan. Ugh. Yeah, they were made with like dark chocolate and vegan marshmallows and like graham crackers. Well, anyway, it is summer, and summer means summer reading assignments. And I don't know about you guys, but my school has like a set list of like crappy books that you have to read. I mean, like this year everybody has to read Eleanor and Park, so I guess it's not that crappy, but it could be better. I know I'm gonna get so much hate. I don't want to read Eleanor and Park. I'm sorry. I am such a creature of habit. I stick to the books that I like, and I know the last time I read a new book was like besides The Fault in Our Stars 2 years ago. And the reason being is because I have a group of books that are right next to me that are like my safety blankets, and I've read these books at like the perfect times in my life, and they've been very, very influential in my life. And I work at a library this summer. That is my summer job. So I'm always being asked what books I recommend and what books I think are like really good and what I would like, like what I want other people to read. And I never know how to answer this question because my books aren't like popular. So I'm always like saying like, read Divergent or the Ugly series or The Maze Runner or Eleanor and Park because I know those are like popular books. But I really want to say my books. So I'm making this video today to share my books, my favoritist books of all time. I mean, I have like 3 bookcases full of books, and I recently like took out a dresser out of my room and I cleaned out my bookcases, and it's full of books that I'm going to go donate to my library. So I have read a lot of books in my life. It's just like I stopped reading new books because I stopped liking new books. I kept like being like, why isn't this as good as blank? And why isn't this as good as blank? So I think that summer is the best time to sit inside with your AC blasting like mine is, with your favorite brand of 0-calorie drink like I have, which is sparkling ice, the lemonade one. My favorite is pink grapefruit, but this one is the strawberry lemonade, and it tastes like strawberries with a little hint of lemon. It's so good, so fizzy. The only fizzy drink I can drink. Anyway, and while you sit and drink your drink with your AC on, I think everybody should close their laptops and open up a great book. So, these are my great book recommendations. And they're going to be old. But keep in mind, my like type of book is very specific. I either like really depressing books, like books that give me anxiety, they're like so depressing, or books made for like 12 boys. So, with that being said, the first book is Zombies vs. Unicorns. And this is actually my like least favorite out of my favorites book because it's not a story, it's a collection of short stories. But I'm including it in this video because I love zombies and I love unicorns. So this book is like perfect for anybody who has an interest in zombies and has an interest in unicorns, or somebody who has an interest in zombies but doesn't really like unicorns, or somebody who has an interest in unicorns but doesn't really like zombies. This book is edited by Holly Black and Judstein Labrister, and as you can see on the back of the book, there's all the authors of the short stories. At least I'm assuming that's who this range of people are. And, I like this book because you can read a story in here, and then you can close the book, and you can go read another book, you can come back to it and be like, I didn't have to remember anything at all because they're not connected. And I like that book. This, I think, would fall under the genre of science fiction. And, yeah, in my category, it would be a book for 12-year-old boys. But anybody could read it because anybody can read anything, right? Right. Moving on. The next book I'm going to share with you guys doesn't fall into the typical Lena categories, but I love computers and I love Facebook. Facebook used to be my favorite website until Tumblr rolled around. And who did who did who created Facebook? That is Mark Zuckerberg. And this book is called The Accidental Billionaire, the Founder of Facebook, and it's by Ben Mezrich, and it's about Mark Zuckerberg. Now, if you've seen the movie The Social Network, that is actually the movie that is based on this book. And I read this book because I was going to go see the movie, and I always, if I'm going to go see a movie and it's based on a book, I kind of feel like really dirty if I don't like read the book first, so that, like, because there's like a certain, like, you need to read the book before you see the movie kind of thing, you know. So I like this book because if anybody here or anybody watching has like an interest in being like a coder or anything like that, or wants to have like an internet job, Mark Zuckerberg is like the guy to look up to. Because he started his website and he didn't even have he didn't finish his college career to start his website and make it that successful. And he started it with a handful of people, and that handful of people he started it with, he had major issues with in the beginning, and he was also dealing with a lawsuit at the same time. So he's a really good person to look up to if you're interested in being a coder or an internet guy or gal. So I would recommend reading this book, even if you're not into that. It's a good book. End the story. Lena likes it. Don't fall. The next book I'm going to choose out of my pile to talk about is actually a book we had to read in 7th grade, and it was The Giver. And this was the first book to give me legitimate anxiety, and I will tell you why. I have a major fear of post-apocalyptic societies and futuristic societies, and the way The Giver is set up, that they choose your job and you have to do this and your kids aren't really your kids, it freaks me out. It would freak any normal 17, not 17. How old was I in 7th grade? Whatever, 7th grader. So, and they're making a book out of the book. No, they're making a movie out of this book. So this is definitely something to read over this summer. It's The Giver by Lois Lowry. And the guy's name is Jonas, which they kind of effed up the grammar on the back of the book there with. But that's okay, because that little error just doesn't, reflect over the whole book. This book is really fantastic. If you weren't forced to read it in school, I would read it now. It's so good, so influential over my life. Hopefully it will be for your life. The next book I'm going to talk about is another book I had to read for school, but I read this book at the perfect time. I had a really hard time in middle school. People would bully me a lot, and I kind of needed a book to give me hope. And I think in 8th grade we read this book, and this was The Outsiders by S.C. Hinton. And this book falls into a Lena category because it has a very depressing undertone, and it gave me anxiety at certain points, but the way it doesn't fall under a Lena category is at the end it gives you a lot of hope. And at that time in my life, I needed a book to give me hope. So this is the only book you'll see in this pile that's light at the end and really just gives you hope and lets you breathe easy, And I really want to get Stay Gold tattooed on me somewhere and gold rating, because that's not cheesy at all, and not a million people haven't done that. The next book I'm going to talk about is another book I think I read in middle school. Had to have read it in middle school. And the only reason I read this book was because I thought Logan Lerman was going to be in the movie, but I really don't think they're going to make a movie anymore out of this book. And this book is called 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. And this book is about a boy, and his name is Clay Jensen, who is in like love, I think, with a girl named Hannah who ends up committing suicide. And she leaves 13 reasons why she committed. And I was like, I was being bullied in middle school, and I was, when you're being bullied, you're not like the happiest person. So this book came into my life at the perfect time because, a lot of thoughts run through your head when you're not happy. And I'm not gonna lie, one of the thoughts were like, what if I was dead? So this book kind of gave me like an idea of what it's like and like the pain people go through and like the wondering and like the frustration. So if you're going through a very difficult time in your life right now, I would highly recommend reading this book and giving it a try, even though it's like extremely depressing. It might be triggering to some people, but it's very, very good, very well written, and the way it triggers you is not in like a harmful fashion. At least it wasn't for me. It was in like a beneficial fashion, if you will. The next book I'm gonna talk about is a book by my favorite author, like one of my favorite authors. I have 3 authors that I really like, and this is one of my 3. And yeah, everybody loves this author. Everybody on the internet loves this author, and it is John Green, and this is Looking for Alaska. Again, this falls in a Lena category because it's very depressing. This book made me cry, made me angry. I put it down at like a certain point in the book, and I refused to finish it for about 2 months. I was like, nope, done. And this was the first John Green book that I had read, and I'm like, John Green is the worst author on the face of the planet. And one of my friends was like, Lena, you need to finish it. Just finish the book. Stop being stubborn and finish the book. And I'm really happy that my friend, who's not my friend anymore, made me finish the book. So, this is a book about a guy named Pudge and a girl named Alaska. And that's really all I can say without giving it away. But you have to read this book if you haven't. But you're on the internet, so I highly doubt you haven't read this book. If you know anything about the internet, you know that this is like the poster book for the internet. I mean, like anything by John Green is the poster book of the internet. So read this if you haven't read this. What are you doing with your life if you haven't read this? Do you read if you haven't read this? No issues. Read this book. Read it now. Now, the next book, or I shall say books, like they come, there's like 4 of them in the series, but I'm only going to show you guys 3 of them, because the 4th one, it was like technically like the 2nd, I think. The main character was a dude, and I see what they were doing with the dude guy thingy, but Lena did not like him. Lena did not understand. So yeah, these are the 3. They are Go Ask Alice, Letting Anna Go, and Lucy in the Sky. Now, my only issue with Letting Anna Go, well, I'm just tell you what it's about first. It's about a girl who has anorexia, where she's suffering from anorexia. Like what happens is in gym, she's on like track team, so she needs to like document her weight and her daily calorie intake. These girls were like trying to lose weight or something like unhealthily, and her doing this and like documenting everything like kind of like shocked her into like having an eating disorder, which bothered me because like that, I don't think that's how it works anyway. But this one, as fantastic as it is, this one is not as real as the other 2 books. This one was clearly written by an adult. This was clearly written by somebody who wants to scare girls to not have anorexia or not have like eating disorders. So yes, very important message to scare girls out of it. I guess like scare girls out of it or make girls like aware that this happens, but the way it was delivered was very forceful. But it's still one of my like favorite books, and it's so good. This, if you can get past, like it says it's written by anonymous, but the anonymous person isn't Anna. It's an adult pretending to be a teenager who has anorexia. And now, the other two. I'm going to talk about Lucy in the Sky. Lucy in the Sky, I don't really remember, but I'm 99% sure it's about a girl who gets involved with drugs. And, I just love these books. This one really, you felt like it was written by a teenager. And I love, the feel of this book. And, the way it flows. And, yeah, I love this book. It's a good book. I love all of these books, except for Jay's Journal. I'll talk about that one in a minute. Now, my absolute favorite one out of these might be because of the title, but it's called Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. This one, I don't know if it was written by an adult or by a teenager, but whoever wrote this book is fantastic. It's a really believable book, and I'm like, it's really hard for me to tell real or not, and they did make a movie out of this book, but it wasn't popular, and I would really like a reboot of that movie. I could play Alice. I have blonde hair like Alice. Not Alice in Wonderland. I could totally play Alice. It's about a girl who, she becomes like a drug addict, and like a lot of bad things happen to her while she's on drugs and stuff, and it just it really scares you about drugs. That's like the message of this. But I really liked this book, and I read this again in middle school, but I've read this several times after that, and I've actually just finished reading it again the other day. It's my favorite book to just sit down and you can finish it in 4 hours. It's really short and it's really easy to read. It's a great quick book. If you have a book report that's due tomorrow, read this book. Great, easy, done. Now, the next book I'm going to talk about is a very popular book, or at least it used to be, and it's Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and I cannot tell you how many critical lens essays I have done with this book. This book has saved my little butt in so many essays. You understand? I had my English final, this book. Every essay leading up to my English final, this book. This book, so easy to connect to any theme to. This is a staple book for me, and that's probably why it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite. It's my second favorite book. It's my baby. Rick Riordan is one of my favorite authors. I will read anything by him, except for the Kane Chronicles, because I read the first one and it was crap. But this book, great. The movie, no. Oh, I was going to talk about Jay's Journal. Yeah, that one's about a boy who gets into witchcraft, and it's really bad. Don't read it. Unless you want to, then read it. The next book, and my final book, and my most favorite book of all time, is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And this is actually the Barnes & Noble's collector's edition, so it has all of the other shorts, the other stories from Lewis Carroll about Alice. And I don't know, I kind of really connect to Alice because she's a very smart, intelligent girl stuck in an airhead's body, and I feel like I'm a very smart, intelligent girl, but I'm stuck in an airhead's body. So I connect to Alice a lot, and this year we're doing Alice in Wonderland for Halloween. I'm gonna be Alice because I'm blonde and my hair is blue, like the dress. My sister's gonna be the Cheshire Cat. No, she's not. She's gonna be the Mad Hatter. My dog Teddy's gonna be the Cheshire Cat. My sister's dog Ella's gonna be the Red Queen, and then Trippy is gonna be the March Hare. It's gonna be so cute to make those costumes, and I can't wait. But this is my all-time favorite book of, I have read this book so many times, and I don't know what about it is. I like the idea of the main character, Alice, being able to escape into her own little world, and I like the backstory about the book, and that is that Lewis Carroll wrote this book about a drug trip, and Alice is actually based off of his niece. So, yeah, I like this book. I like Lewis Carroll. He's another one of my favorite authors. Sorry, my computer went black. I thought it stopped recording. I got really panicked. Anyway, those are all my favorite books that I own. Yay! Books. Yay, reading. Everybody read. Yay. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what I should do next week. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Adios.